Wanna see how I animated the same scene in 3 different styles? Watch until the end to find out. Hi. If you've seen at least more than one object show, you've probably seen the various animation styles they have to offer. Since I've been wanting to improve my animation, I thought it would be a fun exercise to step out of my comfort zone and try animating in some of these styles. For this video, I'll be recreating this scene from BFDI.
Did you get your job yet? Yeah. You gotta do what you gotta do, David! You better start licking those jawbreakers! No!
I'll try the different styles from BFDI first, but I might do other shows in the future. No guarantees, though. Without further ado, let's get started. Before jumping straight into the animation, I tried making an animatic so that it would be consistent with the original scene and so that I don't have to juggle between animating and replaying the scene on YouTube. Even though I used to find them pretty unnecessary, nowadays I think it's a better way to get my ideas down instead of going completely off whatever I got in my head. These green lines you'll see me add near the end here is a rule of thirds grid, which helps align stuff in the right places to have a good composition. I didn't adjust much afterwards though, since the original scene already fit the grid well.
Did you get your job yet? Yeah. You gotta do what you gotta do, David! You better start licking those jawbreakers! No!
I know it looks stupid, but now we can use it to start animating.
Hey, Ice Cube, let me think for myself!
We'll be starting off with the hand-drawn style, which is probably the most common one out there, and the one I use. The hand-drawn style comes in many shapes and sizes since mostly everything is obviously drawn by hand, and therefore may look different depending on the art style. The original scene from BFDI already uses the hand-drawn style, so I tried to make a few little changes here and there, like Balloony lifting his head to scold David. While the odd scene represents the animation style seen in early BFDI, I think my version looks more like late BFDI or TPOK. I think this is the quickest I've finished an animation from start to finish, since excluding the animatic, it only took me like 1.5 hours. The fact that it was only 5 seconds instead of the usual 22-minute long stuff I usually make probably helped too lol. Here's the result.
Did you get your job yet? Yeah. You gotta do what you gotta do, David! You better start licking those jawbreakers! No!
Time for a different style. For the next version, I tried the animation style in BFDI and IDFG. Instead of most of the limbs and faces being drawn by hand, the characters are animated with pre-made assets, which makes it easier to do without something like a drawing tablet or touchscreen, but was a little more restricting for me because I couldn't really make certain poses or facial expressions without editing the assets, which I tried to avoid. As you can see, I used my previous animation as a base for this one, since I wanted to not only save time, but also keep the characters' timing and positions consistent between each version. I tried to make some movements quicker than before though because the animation in BFDI and IDFG is much snappier than in BFD and TPOK. Another interesting difference would be the lip sync. Unlike my hand-drawn mouth assets that basically come pre-packed with wheels that make the lip sync smoother, this style has separate mouth assets for each frame, so I basically did most of the lip sync by replacing the mouth each frame, only tweening when necessary, which was a little tedious. For the finishing touches, I tweaked the old background assets and replaced Cloudy and Balloony's bodies to match the way they looked in BFDI. After a lot of finagling with Clump Cloudy, here's the result.
Did you get your job yet? Yeah. You gotta do what you gotta do, David! You better start licking those jawbreakers! No!
But guess who got the book?
Finally, I tried the famed BFDI's back style, which is still asset-based, but has a unique art and animation style, being mostly frame by frame instead of tweened. Since this style was something I wasn't very familiar with at all, I used the FL file of the original as a reference. As I did with the BFDI style, I used my first animation as a base for the style swap. However, since it's supposed to be less screen heavy, I used the convert to frame by frame animation feature here and there, but tried doing it manually when I could. Even though I dabbled a bit in my flip-a-clip animation, it was still hard to pull the frame by frame off since I am used to relying on tweens. The lip sync wasn't as difficult since the BFDI's back uses only for mouth poses, no tweens, and doesn't show the teeth as much. I also sprinkled in the goofy toothy one when I did the lip sync for Balloony, since he was clearly angry. I originally edited my own background assets to match the weight lips in BFDI's back, but I forgot since I had the FL file I could literally just use stuff from there instead. Honestly, I hated how this was coming out while I was making it, but afterwards, I think it's alright. What do you think?
Did you get your job yet? Yeah. You gotta do what you gotta do, David! You better start licking those jawbreakers! No!
So, after trying my hand at these styles, I would consider this a success. Though I feel like I kinda missed the mark in some places, it wasn't too bad, and it seems like you guys also liked it according to the comments on the animation, which will be linked in the outro and description if you want to see them all together. What's your favorite object show animation style? Are there any you think I did well or want me to try next? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more like it. That is all. Bye.
Where are you going?